Now that I have this for me to get my drink, like this is fucking hilarious. I can barely, I'm connected to the computer, so it's like I gotta get it on the coaster. Okay. All right, you're listening to the Brolic.
All Things Broke Network.
And the All Things Broke Network. This is a bi-weekly, sometimes New York history podcast, where I, renter of the affordable housing.
I'm back! I'm in focus again. Technology has failed us.
Back! We're that much less broke. Anyway, read a story of New York City history. Oh yeah, my name's Evan Mastronardi. I always fucking forget because something always happens afterwards.
Listen, something always happens. This is the first time we're recording our broke ass podcast for the first time in about, I'm gonna say, 3 months or so.
Yeah, it is. What the fuck? Okay, this is gonna wear out at some point. So, all right, whatever. Yeah, it's been like 3 months.
We talking about your headset?
Yeah, my headset.
Dude, this is the Bronx edition of podcasts.
This is the broke of the broke network, like literal broke shit.
Someday, man, if this catches on, and by that I mean like if we get maybe 24 listeners, I am gonna buy us
$5.
And $5, I'm gonna buy us. I'm gonna get us some proper microphones and some real software to edit this shit in.
That would be great. But like I said, I am inspired by the fact that the dollop was started in Dave Anthony's garage with like a fucking toaster, and somehow it still got to where it is.
What you're doing now is wearing the toaster.
Yeah, I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fuck, we fucked up the intro. Okay, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, I'm Evan Mastronardi.
And I'm Chris. He reads some shit to me because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because he doesn't know what the story's gonna be about. Okay.
All right, welcome.
Welcome. So. Today we are sponsored by Shibboleth. Because which motherfucker thought it was a good idea to put some like fucking Old Testament shit in the licensing agreement of the security of a network? It's just I don't understand it.
I'm not that far into the tech sphere. It might be hard to believe. That might be hard to believe. I'm not. I don't know the guy who decided on Shibboleth or why.
And probably in the Old Testament, that guy.
Yeah, well, maybe the Old Testament of the internet. He probably lives near here.
The Old Testament of the internet. Well, yeah. I mean, it's my understanding is that in the Old Testament there was a test to see who was it was some sort of authenticity to see if someone was from where they were going to be from.
Likely one of the many times that the Jews had to protect themselves from being discriminated against and needed a way of making sure that whoever was knocking, whoever was trying to roll up, was actually friendly.
Yeah, so if they did...
The Old Testament is basically just like story after story after story of how God is cruel and we can invent new weird ways to discriminate against people.
Yep.
Hence Shibboleths.
And yeah, so you were supposed to say you're supposed to say it sounds ridiculous. You're supposed to say Sibboleth.
See, I would have been killed.
Yeah, we all would have been killed because there's a fucking H.
I'd be dead.
A, there's a fucking H. B, I need a new certificate to get on this Wi-Fi, motherfuckers. All right.
What do we? Before we jump into it, what are we drinking tonight? What do you got?
This is an old man Italian cocktail. A old man Italian cocktail. This is Sambuca Black.
Okay.
All right. Fernet, which you've had before. Fernet, it's very strong.
Yeah.
And Frangelico, because Frangelico is very sweet, so they mix, and so Sambuca's kind of in the middle, like a licorice taste, so they kind of even each other out.
Oh no! I could never do the licorice. So translated into English, what are each of those?
Well, Sambuca has the licorice taste. Frangelico is from a friar. It's supposedly made by a friar. In fact, friars, man, people in the clergy, they turn up. I mean,
Yeah, they
it's
make
like,
a lot
what
of
is
good shit.
this? They make a
Even
lot. They
even
make
the
wine. Chartreuse is made by French monks or fucking clergymen.
even all the things named after the clergy. I mean, we got Laughing Monk out here, and they just churn shit out.
Yeah, what I mean,
Are they out here? Wait a minute. This is dead air time for some. Yeah, they're yeah. Look at that. They're in SF. They're in the city.
all right.
Well,
Was it?
shit.
That's a beer?
Yeah, they're a brewery,
My God, what don't they
and
do?
everything they make is phenomenal. I'm assuming they are not run by monks, but you know, it's
No.
in the spirit.
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah,
the
fuck
Holy
it.
Spirit.
Yeah. I mean, God created heaven and earth creates certain plants that some people smoke. So
It all rolls up.
it all rolls up. All right. 1954. The year of our Lord Bing Crosby.
And what a year!
March
Imagine.
26th. Go ahead.
Thank God that man wasn't alive to see the search engine.
The fuck? It's me. It's all me. The whole fucking thing. I did this,
The only thing I'm good for is porn.
and I'm fucking up everybody's. What is this? I don't get Amazon. I get Jet. You remember Jet?
Oh my God! I forgot about that.
I don't
Wow.
get Amazon. I get Jet.
They died, right?
I don't get Hyundai. I get Daewoo.
Jet.com. Oh yeah, they died. I bought their membership. I was an idiot. Wow.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of Catholics, Curtis Sliwa was born into a Catholic family, Polish and Italian descent. Clearly, the Sliwas, the Polish. So basically, us. Clearly,
So having some experience with this exact we'll
Exactly.
call it genetic loadout.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just thinking of a cod loadout. It's just
yeah,
Polish.
yeah.
The true modern warfare.
This can work out in a variety of ways. It is often not a good one. I have I have the emotional stuntedness of an Eastern European with the veracity and passion of a Mediterranean person. And
Food passion, especially.
And regular bullshit passion.
We share it.
And
Yes.
it doesn't work. I just tell you from experience. It's not a great mixture. This is like when you put vodka and tequila in the same cup and then drink that.
That's
and
Long
then
Island.
and then the next day you're very bloated and you have to take the worst shit of your life. That is my genetic makeup.
And
my
why,
loadout.
and that's why they named that combination with every other liquor the Long Island iced tea.
Because it'll fuck you up, as it has yours truly. Anyway, go on.
So shit. I was gonna say something. There was so much there. There's just so much. I forgot what I want to say. Anyway, born in Canarsie, Brooklyn. So father's originally from Chicago, mother's from New York, mother's from Brooklyn, Canarsie.
Okay, nice.
Father is Chester Sliwa, mother's Francesca, siblings Aletta and Maria. So he attended Brooklyn Prep, a Jesuit high school, as many Catholic boys do, as many did in our family. Graduated from Canarsie High School, worked as a delivery boy. I mean, he had, a young Italian immigrant family upbringing, working class. They're trying to send him through parochial school. He works when he's like 11 and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, he even calls us, I'm an outer borough guy, and I relate to that. I'm an outer borough guy. We just talked about this earlier. Like, I will always be, even if I want to be a rich boy in Manhattan one day, my DNA will always be an outer borough guy, and
Yeah,
he says, there is a difference being born either uptown in the Bronx in the outer boroughs and like south of 96th Street.
yeah.
There's
I mean,
there's
I mean, look,
it's a different world.
there's an attitude that comes with being born and raised in a place where there's fucking nothing to do. Ask me about it sometime. Ask me how
Well,
I know.
this is the opposite. There's shit to do. It's just not healthy shit to do.
Yeah,
It's just not always good to
exactly.
you have to find the right shit. So he actually was awarded the title Newsboy of the Year. I didn't even know that was a thing. Newsboy of the Year.
You know, that's one of those awards. That's one of those things that they give out. That's like a kick in the dick of an employee of the month award. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
but
that.
wait, he actually had good reason. To be fair, he
No,
saved.
I'm sure he had great reason to be their employee of the month. But this is like the thing that the newspaper companies are like, we pay that 11-year-old like pennies on the dollar to throw shit at people's lawns.
Well, it's even worse because apparently he saved people from a burning fucking building while he was on his bike route. Like, could you imagine? The guy's already working when you and I are at fucking Toys R Us playing with Transformers. I mean,
Yeah, man. I
and
was,
then
dude.
playing N64.
I was just gonna say, I was like knee deep in Pokemon Gold at 11. You know what I mean?
Fucking knee deep in Super Smash Bros. GoldenEye. This guy
Yeah,
fucking throwing paper a fucking mile at Sandy Koufax speed, and he's fucking saving people from burning buildings on top of going to school.
probably walking 5 miles to school every
Fucking
day.
walk and the mean streets of Canarsie. All right, so but what happens is he said he starts out doing very well in school in high school, but then he says I started chasing skirts.
Okay.
Basically, it's basically
And,
one day.
and what else was there to do in the
But wait,
1960s?
before you, ah, shit, I should have had it loaded up. Okay, before you continue, look up a picture of Curtis Sliwa, and because you need this in mind as we're continuing. Sliwa, Sliwa.
Oh
Is
no,
is that not exactly who you thought it was gonna be?
I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, he's definitely Polish and Italian.
I know. And if you hear the man talk, I mean, come on. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, so he's chasing skirts. He says his grades fall, and his mom's disappointed. Uh, I think she wants to like send him away. She's disappointed with that he's not doing as well academically. His father says, "All right, you got a few choices. One, I could kick your ass out of this house." Because that's what happens to kids who are 16 and just like not doing what their parents want.
Yep.
At that time, you're already supposed to be close to pension when you're at 16. At that
Yeah, yeah.
time,
Why aren't you two doctors already?
why aren't you a fucking plane mechanic and working at the fucking butcher shop on Arthur
Yeah,
Avenue simultaneously?
yeah.
Okay,
My
so he
my
said,
my options for reference. My options were go to college. Great, love that option. I did it. Or join the army or leave.
"Yep."
That was it.
Well, did you actually ever consider joining the army?
In high school, I legitimately thought that it was my only. I planned on going into the army when I was in high school,
Oh my
and
God.
and then as an upperclassman, I realized that maybe that wasn't such a great idea, and that
Yeah.
also I could go to school for art instead. So I ended up doing that.
Right. And then you switched to computers, went to boot camp, and now you make big numbies, which
And
is
and thank God, because now AI is apparently just ramming every artist up the ass right now, and we're supposed to just pretend that that's an okay thing.
yeah. Maybe I'm old school, but I still think the artists are going to come on top. There's some things AI can't replicate. Um,
You
but
don't think
anyway,
you don't think the Pope wearing a puffy jacket is like a weird? You don't think?
it's its own, it's its own type of art, but
It
there's
will
still
be,
something.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so he says, yeah, I'll kick you out the fucking house. That's one. That's A. B, you gotta I forgot how much it was. Uh, you gotta pay rent He's B and C. You'll see are kind of the same thing, but he
Man,
he
charging
he
a
ba-
child rent is crazy.
he says like you just got to come up with rent. C though he says I just want you to get a job. But then I'm thinking, well, in order for B to happen, how the fuck else is he gonna do it? So anyway, it was a little confusing. But anyway, Curtis says, you know what? I'm gonna get a job. So Curtis gets a job. So he's in Canarsie in Brooklyn. But Curtis gets a job being a co-manager for a McDonald's in the Bronx. And boy, was this not the launching point to his career that any of us would have expected. When I saw this, I was like, why is this so important? And then it became important. And let's see, here's where Otter. So for the 3.5 people listening to this, now,
Including
now,
us.
including us. Now we're gonna go into my notes through Otter, which are insane. It's like
Mhm.
someone on fucking Ritalin did this. So he starts working. He's a co-manager at McDonald's, and he ends up getting the night shift. So his coworker Don Chin is basically saying it sounds like the police academy. He's like, you could do what they tell you in the McDonald's university, okay? Because there's another guy apparently. And then I had to be like, wait, back up. Pause. There's a McDonald's University?
Is that
Yes.
just what they call their training program?
I don't. It's a real place in Indiana, apparently.
That is fucking incredible. Everybody stop right
I
now while I Google this.
I think that's where like you go to be like the ultimate fucking McDonald's employee. Cause one of his coworkers apparently went to
There's
McDonald's
absolutely no way
University.
this is real. There's no way.
I saw the commercial.
What the fuck? They have why would they? Oh my god, they're running commercials. Hamburger University.
I don't know. I guess it's its nickname. I bet
Hamburger.
you
No,
it's.
that's the. Evan, I am looking at the official Wikipedia page for
You
Hamburger
can't.
University. Is a
You're
training
kidding me.
facility at the McDonald's Corporation Global Headquarters in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, it's in Chicago, not Indiana. It was somewhere in the Midwest. Anyway, so first of all, I had to get past that was a fucking thing.
Wow. Imagine a world where training your owner operators is cheaper than going out and finding people who can run a restaurant successfully. Imagine being stuck in the position just as McDonald's where you have to bring people and you're like, okay, you fucking dumbasses. This is how you hire someone who's competent. This is how you make money.
I I mean, I don't. A whole university. They really and
It's only in business management, so it's probably like wearing a suit 101. Don't worry about it.
and they call it. I still can't get over. There's an official document that says Hamburger University.
I mean, it's only official as far as Wikipedia, so you know.
So there's another manager who's either was there or is currently there for now. That again, this is why I'm saying it reminded me of the police academy when you always hear the first thing they say is it's nothing like they tell you at the academy. You
Yeah.
know, and this is what Don told me. He said it's nothing like they told them at McDonald's
It's not boot
University.
camp.
It's nothing like they told you at McDonald's University. He said it's completely different. He said the first, basically, again, like police. He's basically telling them the first thing you got to do is survive. Because he's saying we are a Chinese man and a white guy in the South Bronx McDonald's. Now, I don't know. Actually, I don't believe it wasn't necessarily South Bronx, but it was a McDonald's. I think it was like more like Central. But the point being, yes, he will stand out.
Yep, sure.
He will stand out, and there may be some confrontations about this. And Curtis was a tough guy. He kind of knew that this was what was going to happen anyway. But Don is telling.
He looks prepared just from the images I saw. He seems like a wide prepared person.
We're gonna anyway. So, but I think he still wasn't expect. I think he still kind of expected Don to like greet him with, "All right, here's where you keep the hamburgers." Not like, "All right, we hold the line."
You know, he was looking for optimal storage for potatoes, not weaponry. Like he wasn't looking for the
Yeah.
armory.
So, uh, so he's basically telling him that, you got to be prepared to fight. And he legitimately said,
This is
you could,
again. Sorry, this is just as the manager. Like as the manager,
the
he has to be
the
prepared to go
co-manager.
out there. He's
Yeah.
got to be prepared to go out there and get his hands bloody.
Anytime that you go to that register to ring up that fucking Big Mac, all right, you may have hands may be caught, hands may be dealt. Okay.
Hands may be dealt. It's so funny. It's so funny that this is. So around what year are we talking at this point? What is this?
Around what year? I believe we are in the early
Like is he?
70s.
So he's. So I
He's
just want to clarify. He's
like
no longer
16,
11. He's
17.
he's no longer 11.
Yes,
His
he's no longer
his
11.
parent. No, I'm joking. But I mean, his
Yeah.
parents weren't like, "Why don't you run a McDonald's already?" All right,
Well,
fine.
well,
So
this is
that's
what
good.
I'm saying. This was by the time he was like 16, 17 and his grades started slipping in high school.
Ugh.
So his father was like, "You got to at least work."
And the,
And
the the fight thing is funny because it's like I remember as a kid, I think we must have been driving somewhere in the city, maybe even to go see you somewhere, and my mom was like, I was a kid, and my mom was like, if you're ever in trouble in the city, you should definitely like run to a McDonald's because there's always a cop at a McDonald's, and you can always ask him for help. I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy. Well, I was like 9. I'm like, Mom, the world has to know that there's always a cop at a
the
McDonald's. That's
world has
crazy.
to know there's not necessarily, but still, it's true that they frequent it. They frequent it. It's true. So, Don is now giving him the details. So he legitimately says, you could do it the way the other night managers. You could do it the way the other night managers tell you to do it for McDonald's University. You could do it the McDonald's way, and 6 of us will carry you in a casket and be at your burial.
Jesus Christ in heaven.
Or you could do it my way, the Bronx McDonald's way. There's got to be a separate handbook just for the Bronx McDonald's.
That's hilarious.
All right. Uh, so
Oh my god.
so he says you got a target in your forehead. You're white. I mean, I think he's kind of look.
I think he's
Racial-
trying to scare a kid right now.
I think Don is a little older than him. Yeah, I think he's a little older than him.
There's tensions. We know there's tensions, right? And we know
There's
that
crime in the 70s. The Bronx is literally burning, left behind by this city. There's a lot of factors, of course, as we know, that contribute to crime. And Curtis Sliwa himself is not, even though he's white, he came from a working class background. I think he knows what it is. But
unless this story ends with him bringing a Gatling gun to the register every time he's got to ring somebody up, it's a bit of an exaggeration to say.
Well,
uh-oh.
Funny you should mention that.
Oh no.
Not
All right.
quite a Gatling gun, but Curtis goes back to the near where the fry cook section is, and he's like, I see fucking baseball bats, poles, machetes.
Machetes.
He sees like all these blunt and handheld, somewhat lethal defense objects.
Yeah.
He's got like a fucking artillery. Don Chin, his compatriot here, has got fucking artillery back there. So no, they are strapped. They don't have necessarily a firearm, but I think that's the only thing they don't have.
Yeah. Sounds like they got everything else.
So
There's like a suit of armor next to the deep fryer.
So another thing that I didn't realize, but it makes sense, is that this is like the early to mid 70s. So yes, crime is rampant, but there's a
lead in the air.
It is lead in the air, and I don't want to get too hard. Yes, crime is rampant, but of course, whatever negligence the city has done to its black and brown communities now, magnify that by fucking 10 times then. So there's
Oh,
a
dude,
reason.
absolutely.
There's
I
a
mean, you
reason why motherfuckers are desperate.
look at the violent crime statistics of basically anywhere in the U.S. in the
Yeah.
'70s. Anywhere, it is fucking unimaginable,
Well,
unimaginable how many people were just getting got everywhere.
and in the Bronx, they just this is gonna have to be another Brolic, but in the Bronx there was just literally buildings burning on a regular bit. Like they just let shit decay.
Yeah,
It was insane.
yeah.
So
And if you go to the right Facebook groups filled with baby boomers, they'll tell you that it was because of that it was because of rent control.
okay. All right. Anyway, so so this is something that I never thought of, but makes sense. Of course, there was no computers now, so they had to literally take the money from the register at the end of the day and take it to the bank
Sure.
across, and it was across the street. But I'm like, all right, that run itself is
Yeah,
going to be dangerous.
that's the longest 100 meters you've
Right.
ever walked. Yeah.
But, okay, that's going to be dangerous, but what if there's not a bank across the street? What, there's, at the time there was a bank across of every McDonald's? I doubt that.
No.
So
No,
it just so happened there was a bank across the street.
you walked to your car with your revolver in your pocket, man. That's how you did it.
Well, so he has to do that at the end of the day. There's always fights. All right. So there was a pen.
Isn't it? I'm sorry. I don't want to
Yeah.
derail us too
No,
hard.
go
but
ahead, go ahead.
Isn't it kind of amazing that anyone was fucking sold on even going to a McDonald's? Anytime someone tells you like, "Oh man, don't go to San Francisco. It's ridden with crime." Motherfucker, McDonald's survived, and they were selling hamburgers for 25 cents next to a fucking like race mob. Like it just happens. It's amazing
Yeah.
anything survives the '70s.
So, including this man's Big Mac. Now, let me explain. So, so there was a guy
Yeah.
who apparently Curtis, the way Curtis enters this conversation is funny to me because it's like it's a scam I should know about, which I don't. Apparently, during this time, there was like this little scam where you eat. Curtis was very specific. He said, the man ate 7/8 of the Big Mac. 7/8. He left one little piece and he said, you know what? I want my money back. And whatever was so bad about it, it wasn't bad for the first 7/8, but the last eighth. So it's a scam to get your money back, to cause issues, so you don't have to pay for food, especially if you have no money. So there was a guy who would keep coming in and doing this. He would either want his money back or a new one. And Curtis said, like, what do you think? I'm a sucker. And he's retelling this story, and the customer said, what, you think I'm ripping you off? Let's settle this man to man. So Curtis apparently said, he takes a break here that didn't make much sense to me. He even kind of contradicts himself later. He says, there was a time where people didn't jump people. You settled it like this, one-on-one. It's like, I actually think throughout history, that's a pretty consistent one, Curtis.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers kind of got jumped.
That's one of those things that like ever since there was two people, one of them was getting.
Yeah, ever since it wasn't just Adam and Eve.
Honestly, even then, didn't one of them lose a rib? Fuck.
Yeah, somebody got jumped.
Somebody got jumped.
Fucking God jumped him. Anyway,
Sure, yeah. There was no. That was the imaginary sky beast for sure. It definitely wasn't me. I didn't eat your rib in the middle of the night. It's fine.
The McRib. So the original McRib, the holy McRib. So, Curtis is like, all right, I got to prove myself now. I got to fight him. So he says he fights him. He body slams this guy.
That's a crazy thing to think to yourself. I think
it is, but Curtis.
You're not showing now. Hold on. You're not showing the hamburger the respect. You want your 35 cents back, motherfucker? Now you got to go through me. And also, who takes on that fight? Accounting for inflation, even. Who looks at? I just looked at a picture of this guy. Who looks at a picture of a grizzled a grizzled 16-year-old who's been learning how to run a restaurant since he was like 9 months old and thinks to himself, I can take this guy for sure. It's worth.
Well, this has been an ongoing scam, apparently. That he's done. That this customer has done for a while.
Okay, fine,
And-
but then there's a day where you move on to a new restaurant.
Well, today was the day. Because Curtis wasn't having it. He said he fucking body slammed him. I'm thinking, what are we doing? Tables, ladders, chairs now?
One
Middle
of
of
us
this
has access to a
WWE
lot more hamburgers here, pal. You're done for.
All right. So
So the guy died or what?
no, he lived, but he obviously got injured.
Paralyzed from the neck down. Got it.
And Curtis clearly does know how to handle himself, but he was like, and then nobody would ever mess with me. And I'm like, I mean, look, we all got our order here. If Terry Crews comes in, you may just give him back that fucking 35 cents, Curtis. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We got
And
to let's be real.
Let's just assume. I mean, I know word travels fast, but not everybody's present in the McDonald's to watch the beating that happens over the requested return. So someone's gonna try it again for sure.
Well, you'll see that they do, and it's like, yes, there was word of mouth, but
he's
but
putting
there was
up
no
posters.
fucking internet.
Puts a billboard up of the guy's like mangled body on the floor.
So now one of the things that time, next to the fucking apple pie specials.
Yeah. Just dollar menu. Also, this. Just
This guy fucking has a hernia now. So
she's
so
got
now-
a picture. Silas's face, just like all red and square in the bottom corner.
So Don tells him that, you got to have a crew. I need you to hire people who will have your back. So it's so funny. He's like, Curtis said, I don't care if they fucking burn the burgers. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's so funny that this whole thing has basically become, I'm getting paid minimum wage to survive for this period of time.
Now, I'm just curious. How did this get escalated to? Why is this happening? Because clearly he can handle it. So what's
He can
the
handle
problem?
one guy.
Are we planning on multiple guys rolling up
And
on the McDonald's?
there's gangs. There's crews. This is
All right,
for
this-
now. He's
right.
the reputation has changed, but this is clearly a McDonald's that, if you fuck with it, it fucks with you back.
Right.
But it's, things can escalate. So
I'm just saying. Back in the '70s, I'm sure there were a lot of McDonald's.
yeah, but now this has become a fucking, this is the boss battle now. Okay.
All right.
This is now it's a point that this Bronx one is not to be fucked with. So someone is got to take him down. So anyway, Don says you got to have the fry cooks back there that can back you up. So it's like, it's not even about making burgers, not any of that. It's basically saying, I need your tag team, Curtis. All right, you got to have a fucking tag team back there.
All right.
So, he's gathering people. But
So he's like, let's just get the Hell's Angels to operate the fucking.
well, you'll see what transpires. So, but I forget if this is before or after. Okay, I think this is actually before he assembles his A-team here. So before he fully assembles his A-team, Don has another test for Curtis. As if the last one that ended in a body slam wasn't bad enough.
This phone call is coming from inside the house now.
Yeah, so Don rolls up on a motorcycle, on a Harley, drunk, with a machete, and runs in.
This is his co-manager.
This is the guy that gave him the book, the Bronx book. It's the same guy. He's like, I'm the boss. Now I'm the boss battle. So he runs in. He's drunk on a Harley. He runs in with his machete, and he's got, Curtis is like, this is his boss at the same time, but he's like, now he's fucking insane. I got to fight him back. But what is the dynamic here? And he's got the knife, and he's got him over the grill, and Curtis is like this close to the grill, and then Don just laughs and leaves. This guy's a fucking psychopath. And then he snaps out. He said he suddenly I looked at him and I was about to get burned, and he's like, then he snapped out of it and laughed.
Dude, the 70s were too much.
This is a McDonald's.
This is a McDonald's. This is not a fief that needs to be that we need to war over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a fiefdom.
It's not a.
This is,
we
this is
don't.
McDonald's in the Bronx.
I don't know why we're getting all Game of Thrones in here. So what? So okay, that's all right. So
that was a test. I wrote. I think HR even gets involved at this point in the 70s.
yeah, no
But
shit, no shit. Hi, this guy
All
almost
right.
took my left eye out with a
All right.
fryer.
So now he's got some people backing him up. I guess now they're good. I guess that was it. The test is done. Uh, so now he gets some people. I forget if this is the final crew, the backup crew, but he gets some more people that he feels he can trust.
Yeah,
And now
against his own fucking boss. I hope.
so so there's something else going on now. Like I said, there's also gangs that are fighting over territory. So you have the Savage Nomads, the Savage Skulls, and the Black Spades. And those are all in this area of the Bronx. They want to rule the Bronx as a whole. Which is a pretty piece of real estate. Uh, and the Savage Nomads are the ones that are in the McDonald's radius the most, okay? And they want to establish their dominance. So one day, the Nomads come in, they bum rush Sliwa at the McDonald's. They start smashing shit, breaking things, throwing tables, throwing metal tables, ladders, chairs, all over again. These are fucking metal chairs.
I'll make them
And
like they used to.
and by the way, he says they will take that out of our paycheck, even though they had nothing to do with
Oh
the
no, I'm
vandals.
sure.
They're
I'm
gonna
sure.
take it out of their
It's
paycheck.
McDonald's we're talking about.
All right, so now he's fighting, but he's outnumbered. So then he's like, at what point is this is it? This is the moment of truth. Is the crew gonna come and back him up? And they like probably waited like I don't know. This isn't the time to like be pensive, guys. Like
No.
they waited like a minute while he's getting fucking beat by these motherfuckers, and then they're like, all right. Like, what took that long to figure out? It was gonna be the same beating either way.
It's gonna die. I get it.
Well, no, but so then they come out with they have all the fucking artillery in the back. So they come out with all these blunt objects and they fight them off. I'm amazed nobody dies. It's a fucking machete. All right, so
Fuck the machete. Metal chairs? Bro, you ever get hit with something metal? It sucks.
yes, it does suck. So anyway, after this battle, after this boss battle, so Curtis has had like 3 boss battles before he's fucking
At what point-
18.
There's no way. Look, again, 70s. Stagflation is happening. I understand he needs a job, but nothing is worth this job.
Right.
It is amazing that McDonald's survives this as a corporation. I wouldn't have gone there.
It's amazing this didn't get national fucking news, but it was another day in the Bronx.
The day I go to get a hamburger and I have to watch the manager get rushed by a gang, we're done. I will never return to one of your
There's
establishments.
other places to get a hamburger.
Done.
Okay. All right. So after the McDonald's incident, all right. This is just a funny thing. I don't know what I was trying to say, but Otter said you wanted to say sleepwalking.
Sure, fuck
Because
it. Why not?
Because that made sense. All right. So he's like, after what happened in the McDonald's, Curtis gets an idea. He's like, I liked having those guys back me up. We didn't
Yeah,
need to
eventually.
Yeah, eventually, exactly. Well, maybe the response time is going to be one of the things he works on. So we didn't need to involve even the police. Like, we handled it ourselves, and we've got a reputation now that this is the McDonald's not to be fucked with. He said, look, there's crime around the streets, there's police corruption, people don't know who to trust. I like this idea. Let's get this idea and start applying it to broader New York. So Curtis gets his group that at the time is called the Magnificent 13.
Oh
Gets-
no. Okay.
Oh, you've heard of this? You've heard of
You
it?
keep going.
So there's So he gets up a group of 13 people. I forget if it's including him or with 13 that are all Rainbow Coalition, black, white, Hispanic, Asian,
Not
who
Don.
including Don, I
Don,
believe.
Don's a loose
Don
fucking cannon. Don could have taken
Don's
anyone.
a loose cannon, but
This could be
anyway.
13. This could be 12 plus one for all we know.
And he ends up convincing this whole group of people to look, these are the people he works with, essentially, I guess different shifts that add up to 13. He's like, we're going to ride the trains together at night. I just wonder how this conversation went. They're already getting paid nothing. They already are fucking fighting every day to fucking give like hamburgers out just for this menial job. And then Curtis is like, you know what we're missing, guys? We gotta fucking ride the trains
More
at night
vigilantism.
unarmed.
Yeah.
We gotta ride the train.
But look at it from their perspective. No internet.
Right.
Adrenaline is pumping.
Yep.
You forget walking into work. Yes, of course. By then, starting your commute, you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Let alone whether or not you're going to have to decide to cook hamburgers or beat someone's ass. The day is done, the day goes without a beating, and you're just amped up.
And to a serious point, this is look. It's not.
And
It's not.
to a certain degree, he's right. To a certain degree, he's. What the fuck is he? If a gang walks up into his McDonald's and he's like, "Fuck, I need help," what's he gonna do? Reach for a fucking phone while he has 13 fucking metal chairs flying at him? No, he's done. He needs protection. If ever there was a cause or reason to have this, I can't believe this is where this is going. This sucks so much. So if you're wondering why the Fed continues to raise rates, it's to avoid a reality where this shit happens, I guess.
So I mean, to be on a serious note, and you'll hear some of the members say this, it's like, it was an after-school program. It wasn't the ideal one necessarily, but it was something.
It sucks, but what the fuck else are they gonna do? Shit sucks. They can't go anywhere. They can't get different jobs. No one wants to work at a fucking McDonald's.
I remember, like, there's a lot of criticisms of the West Wing. Don't ask our influence Dave Anthony about it. I know he hates it. But there was a scene after 9/11. There was an episode that I thought was very good.
God, fuck that show.
Okay, but there was the episode after 9/11 I thought was good, and Dulé Hill, one of his first big roles, he said something that it always stuck with me, and he's like, people look at gangs, like, why do people join gangs? It's like, I could, at my income and the way society looks at me, I could be at this level, make no money, be this social stratus, or I could be a fucking lieutenant. It's like which am I gonna pick? And it's like this isn't a gang. I mean, this will be debated. This will be debated, but in Curtis's mind, and to some extent, I mean, the reason he's starting this is the same reason a lot of gangs did start originally.
Right.
To protect each other and to have community.
Look, I mean, this is to take it back to what we were saying at the beginning. This is Army Recruitment 101.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I get that the Army is not a gang. It has a gang problem, and that's different.
Yeah.
But this is like, oh, you are disaffected by society. You have no opportunities, and everything around you sucks donkey balls. You can get a $40,000 signing bonus and buy a Camaro with it within 2 weeks if you just sign this paperwork and give your life to us for 2 years, or whatever. Right? Like we have something that sucks but significantly less, and you'll make money. How about that? Right? And when everything around you is bullshit, you're like, yeah, that sounds great compared to everything happening to me right now.
And some people thought that at this point New York City was a fucking war zone. There's even a fucking pretty racist movie called Fort Apache about it. So that's also the notion here that there is a sense of unlawfulness. There's a distrust of the police as well, like there is now. There's corruption. The police just it's this mix between, of course, corruption, brutality, and also I think what we talk about a lot is that the police just don't prioritize the right things. That's why the whole system is fucked up. They like arresting prostitutes. Prostitutes are not the people who are doing this, but it gives them a lot of tickets. So anyway, that to be said is that the subways aren't safe. There is a need. Curtis, after this experience with the McDonald's and the people backing him up without any police intervention, Curtis realizes maybe we got something here. So he gets this gang to ride the trains at night. Initially, he looked at this 13 and was he gonna call them something else? No. Okay, so he wasn't gonna call them something else, but
The
I so
Sleepwalkers.
so as you know now you know what this is gonna be about. They're called the Guardian Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it ultimately became the
Yep.
Guardian Angels.
Wow. Wow. I can't believe we have fucking McDonald's of all things to thank for this.
I know I like how it made its way in here, but
Jesus Christ.
what Curtis said is that it also debuted in this weird coincidence. This movie The Warriors came out around the same time, and he's been obviously fucking he's been forged in this in this, so it's not like he just thought he's like, oh, the Warriors, we got to do something. Like, no, he's been thinking about this for some time, but
Sure.
because it came out around the same time, it almost looked like they were just trying to like fucking cosplay, like they were trying to larp, even though, to be fair, they are doing the real part of this. They're doing
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like
no,
like like
absolutely.
they're not just fucking dressed up. So
The Guardian
anyway,
Angels were scary, but they did real work
they did
in
it.
this regard.
So they're on the and they're slowly gaining a following. So some people think that they're fake. So it starts out with mixed reviews, with mixed interactions as it starts to grow. So the first thing, of course, is the word that you said earlier is, are they vigilantes? Are they just vigilantes? Are they a gang? Are they playing dress up? The police hated them, right?
I'm
The
sure.
the police hated them because they were a lot of times able to do what the police couldn't without a gun.
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
right, and that made them look bad. They were able to actually do community safety, and Curtis is saying, all we're doing is what everybody technically has a right for, something called the citizen's arrest. Now, it can be disputed in court later. Someone can say it's not, but the concept, the doctrine, even legally, does exist of a citizen's arrest.
Right.
So he's saying we're just doing that. We're just doing it in this organized way, in this organized, uniform way that we are going to basically do it so you don't have to. We're going to do it we will make that citizen's arrest, but we're going to do it in a way that keeps you safe, hopefully keeps each other safe, and there's going to be enough of us around that hopefully we'll be there when something like that needs to be done. So this is starting to proliferate. There's more and more. His goal is to get this to 13,000. So right now, I mean, I don't know where it is right now. This is where, so it started, it made its debut February 13, I forgot the date, but mid 70s.
Its
Uh,
debut.
yeah, it made its debut because he had a whole like rollout. He's like, I want people to know who we are. And
Oh
they had,
shit.
they had the coat, they had the red beret, they had everything that we now associate
Sorry,
with him.
I think the only I'm sorry, just an aside.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I'm only surprised by this because
Mhm.
I'm used to us talking about so many incompetent people.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, our the last episode we recorded was about Ray, right? Larry,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so to go from a guy who says, "Oh, I was in what the fuck was it, Latvia, Kosovo," and
Kosovo. Yeah.
to go from a guy who says he was in Kosovo organizing,
Mhm.
who the fuck knows what the fuck he said,
Yeah, yeah.
to a guy who successfully manages and defends, I guess. He's got a little deep fryer moat around his McDonald's. He successfully defends his fucking McDonald's
His
and
domain.
forms a vigilante gang to protect not just his McDonald's but other people who want to go about their business.
I
This is crazy. Like this
This
feels
is
nuts to
crazy.
talk about someone like this.
And to be honest, I mean, this is groundbreaking. The city had not seen something like this. Like, there's always been neighborhood watch, but I mean, the neighborhood watches, you never really know what the fuck that is.
Neighborhood watch could
Sometimes
just be someone's mom, watching all the neighborhood kids from a window 12 floors up. That's not going to
it's
save anyone.
right. It's not coordinated. It doesn't really have principles. Curtis's idea was that this is going to be citywide, and they're going to have. He said, I'm going to hold my guys to a certain and ultimately women, by the way. He doesn't only allow men; he allows everybody.
Yeah.
Um, he's like, I hold them to a standard. I want them to only use force when they need to, because this is essentially an experiment. He knows that they already are not, at least by law enforcement and by the mayor, Ed Koch. He's like, none of them like us. So because they're actually doing something about it, and
Right.
the
All of these
worst
people are
thing,
going to look terrible the second. Yeah.
politicians and everybody, the ineffective activists, the good activists do something, the ineffective activists, it's always the complaint, but it's never, well, let's talk about an alternative. Look, it's not always going to be perfect, but you got to at least have an idea for an alternative. You got to at least be thinking about that. And Curtis is saying, look, this is my idea. I'm putting my ass on the line. They're putting their ass on the line. We're not always going to get it right, but we're going to try. And so he holds them to a standard too. And they're completely unarmed. He says everybody checks. He has people that he actually would, like squadron leaders, that he would trust to actually check the guardian angels after their shift was over to make sure that they didn't have weapons on them, because he didn't want like someone to slip them a weapon later. He didn't want them to deal drugs. He said it's really important, especially with how we're judged, that like our image is this: we are unarmed citizens. All we got is our uniform,
That,
and
that's
yeah,
incredibly forward
yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
I mean, he's like 3 steps ahead of most arguments that would be made against him at that point.
I know. And what was I gonna say? Um, the other thing he said, which at this time, is pretty progressive, especially for an Italian Polish guy that certainly had his run-ins with different backgrounds. He said, "I get that a lot of Black and Latinos have entirely been victimized by the police, and they don't trust the police. So this gives them an alternative way to protect their own community, and to also, it's like a sense of pride. It's like, it's like I'm really doing something for my community, and even the police are going to have to look, the police can still be racist, but it's like they at least got to see me in this capacity. They
Yeah.
at least got to see me now with my crew.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
starting to
doing I'm
turn
doing a good thing for my neighborhood. And there's nothing
it's turning the tables a little
yeah.
bit. It's like, now who's making the arrests?
Right.
Now it's the people that you want to criminalize. So
So what are you going to do about it?
you're right. Well,
Right.
this is what happened. So the
Yeah.
cops ended up arresting them.
Right.
The cops ended up arresting the guardian angels like countless times. They would make up some bullshit charge. I think Curtis said he was arrested over 70 times by NYPD. Like, probably released the next day to avoid like paperwork and litigation. But it was just done
Yeah.
because they didn't like them. They wanted to deter them. But it didn't. And it started to expand. It even expanded to New Jersey. And then let me see.
That's funny
Yes,
because when did the PATH train come around?
it's actually a good point. I
I wonder.
How did this happen?
It's I just imagine, I joke with people I work with who, if we only have like one person working in Philly, I'm like, oh, we got a Philly branch. There's one guy who worked at this McDonald's who lived in Jersey, and they're like, oh, so we're gonna have a Jersey branch of the Guardian Angels, right?
Yeah, they did pretty soon actually after the Guardian Angels started. That was the
Yeah.
first probably out of New York, just because
Well,
of it.
one of them had to go over the GW every day, and they were like, I want in.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like, wait a second, the routes of the path were initially laid in the early 1900s, but I don't think that means that it is what it is today. But the groundwork started to be laid then, so the path has been around. Jesus Christ, I didn't realize it's been around this long. But when did I'm trying to see when it really became what it is today. Shit, it really does look like in the early 1900s, Newark Hudson Terminal in April 1912. All right, I guess it's been around. I
That's
didn't realize
crazy.
I didn't realize it's been around this long. All right, so but the New Jersey chapter will have a tragedy. So in the New Jersey chapter, one of the guardian angels is patrolling projects in Newark. Cops are following him. He they think even though he has, again, even though he has his beret, he has his uniform, could be because it's dark, could be just because they're racist and they don't care. Um, they see him. He sees they're about to stop him, so he doesn't even reach in his jacket. He opens his jacket to show he's unarmed, and as he opens his jacket, he's shot in the heart. And that was unfortunately the first guardian angel to die. Typical police. Shoot first, ask questions later. This is
Mm,
not the NYPD, but still. This was the Newark police.
mm.
Um, and there's no real remorse. It's not like
No, they
this was
hate
a
them. So they're
this
not.
was a
They're
big
not. No
defining
one's.
moment.
No one's gonna bother. No one's gonna bother apologizing for this. I'm sure.
The police unions, of course, are defending them. Police unions hate the guardian angels because the police unions are saying that they're gonna take our money away
Right.
because they're doing the job.
Stop treating us like animals, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, the name. So Guardian Angel Frank Melvin was killed in Newark and was the first casualty. Truly a terrible situation. Completely unarmed. Didn't even like take an not that that would justify. He didn't even take an object out of his pocket or anything. He
No.
just demonstrated.
Genuinely making their jobs easier if what they
Right.
were setting out to do was to do their jobs.
Because I don't know about you, but this is not how I fire a gun.
Right.
I mean, it's like what the fuck, guys? Seriously, they just wanted to make a statement. They assassinated somebody.
Right.
So the police are really ramping out. I mean, this of course didn't make any. This was no learning moment. They continued to arrest them. They continued to harass them. Uh, the Guardian Angels also now are actually taking part in protecting gay people because gay people are continuously being beaten in Central Park, including, no surprise, by the NYPD,
Yeah.
for no reason. And the Guardian Angels are like now starting to have a presence there to protect them from this happening, including from their own police force. So uh, that's when it include. It's not just the trains anymore. They're running patrols
Yeah.
like the man who passed away in the projects was. He's running the patrols outside. They're walking a beat in Central Park. So they have enough foot traffic now that they are about. They're out and about in New York City.
Yeah.
They started now though they've made enough of a presence and their numbers are growing enough that they do have support from certain communities. They're making it all the way to Japan now. There's
No.
Japanese art. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. There was a Japanese art gallery where Curtis meets somebody. I thought
Okay.
no, but actually no. They are global because I had no idea. The Clash writes a song about them.
Wow.
Right, and the Clash is, they're all like the counterculture likes them because they are a counter to police. They are
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
They are
Absolutely.
they do have a global presence. I don't know when the first global chapter opens, but they end up with global chapters. Um, the Clash writes a song about them, but now the Red Berets become iconic. So now Curtis will
You got to
find
wonder how the fuck they're getting those, huh? In the 70s. Where are you finding a whole red beret wholesale?
just like thousands of them.
There's got to
Yeah,
God. We are really truly limited by Amazon.
yeah, because they got that many back
There,
then.
I'm just saying there had to be someone in their hood
Just fucking
who could
churning.
like there was a hat store, and they were
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna need you to give me. I'm not kidding, like 132 red berets. You got that? And the guy's like, yeah, I guess. Special order? I have some berets I can dye.
It's like the Guardian Angels made this man fucking rich.
I was just selling these to the Foreign Legion, But yeah, sure. If you guys, yeah,
So now Curtis finds his partner in life and also his partner who helps him with the Guardian Angels, especially with recruiting more women. So he goes to this Japanese art gallery and he sees a woman, and Curtis is like you could tell he says what he, there's no filter here. He just says what he thinks. And he's like, all right, she's a tall, what did he say? Tall like a fucking statue. Beautiful, top shelf 5 star.
I'm genuinely, I love this because in his own way, this guy is a wife guy.
Yeah.
You know what
No,
I mean?
he does. He really
This man is obsessed with his wife, and I just love
he
seeing that.
yeah, he sees her, she sees him. They start talking, and she's like, I've been meaning to join. And to Curtis's credit, I mean, okay, he's retelling the story. He doesn't make fun of her or anything. He's like,
Huh.
all he says is, well, you gotta. They have a combat training. I saw this shit. Like, I don't even think the NYPD has this shit. You you have to fight off like 8 people at once to
God
get
damn.
into the Guardian Angels. Now I don't know exactly if they do it like RPG style, where you have, all right, this guy fights and this, because it's
Yeah,
not going to
yeah,
just
yeah.
be 8.
No. I'm sure they throw 8 bodies at you and see what happens.
Yeah, so
Like last 20 seconds against these people. Good luck.
so you got to be able to pass that. And he tells her, he's like, all right, 8 a.m. Here's the training ground. Here's what it is. And she says, I'm a black belt. Let's go. And she passes.
Woo! God damn.
And she passes. I mean, he said she took it too, but she gave it right back, and she was still standing, and she passed the test.
Listen, I don't think it's crazy for someone to publicly defend, because this is, I mean, maybe we're not right in the thick of it yet,
Uh-huh.
but AIDS is happening, right? Late 70s, 80s, AIDS is happening. But gay
Yeah.
people are beyond stigmatized, because all America wants to understand about AIDS at this point is that gay
Right.
people seem to cause it. So
Probably, yeah.
to be caught defending a gay person,
Mhm.
especially physically,
Yeah.
you had to be a very forward thinking person
Yeah.
to want to get wrapped up in that, because a lot of people wouldn't even bother. I mean, people forget this is how, like, I'm pretty sure this is how Pelosi even got her start. I mean, I know she does nothing except make money off of insider trading in the stock market these days,
Not
but
now, yeah.
but originally,
Mhm.
she was at the forefront of this shit. There's a reason why she got to where she was. It's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she was the firebrand who was like, no, gay people probably shouldn't just be like left to fucking die, maybe, right? Like, maybe we should find a cure for this
Right.
shit. So, and that was really
Yeah.
crazy to hear in America back then, right? So it doesn't surprise me that that he sees an Amazonian and he's like, boy howdy, do I have something you can do?
He's just checking boxes in his head. Okay, she could kick ass. She could join the team. She could get more women. Oh my god. Oh my god.
She's tall. She can recruit women. I love her.
Yeah.
She can kick my ass.
I love
Get me
the way
there.
he introduced it. Like it was very sweet because he did it in such a self-deprecating way. He was like, she's been to different worlds, speak different languages. I'm just some dumb fucking schmuck that barely knows.
I'm
But
really-
the Japanese guy is just waltzing in a Japanese gallery. And he said, what I liked about her, this is such a New York fucking test. Speaking of which, I'm glad none of these tests involve fucking Don Chin running at you and drunk with a machete over a grill.
You can either fight 8 people or I can unleash Dawn on you. I can stand you somewhere near a deep fryer and there will be a man getting off a motorcycle soon.
So he says, this is such a New York this is such a New York test. It's funny. He's like,
Yeah.
I love that I could get a hot dog with her, the dirty fucking hot dog water. I could take her there. We could go to the nicest fucking restaurant. We could do I could take her to all these nice places. She's very cultured, but I could take her there too, and she's not out of her element. It's just, like that's the type of test, Don.
A
You
true New
know,
Yorker
it's
loves versatility.
yes. Okay, and so and
I'm so
ultimately,
I'm so afraid. I'm sorry. I'm so afraid right now because I'm starting to love this guy, and I don't know where the story is going to go. Like I'm afraid he turns into a big fucking asshole, and right now I'm rooting for him so hard.
I'm not gonna give anything away.
All right.
So he ends up marrying this tall, beautiful, cultured, smart, ass-kicking woman, Lisa Evers. And Lisa ends up being she's not just his wife and his partner. She is really involved in the Angels. Like she wanted to be one. She was serious about. She's not just serious about being one on the street. She's serious about the operations. She's serious about the recruiting.
She's
She's
not.
a
This isn't a nepotism hire.
no.
She's
This is
she
not at all.
she's dishing out karate chops.
Hmm. She's going on different publications. So
Okay.
Curtis and Lisa are now both going on. They're going on Geraldo. If you remember Geraldo Rivera, he was the guy that broke the Willowbrook in our Cropsey brothel.
Right.
Um, so he's going on Oprah. They're going on Oprah. I forgot how long Oprah's been around. He's going on Larry King.
Wow.
He's
Yeah.
going.
Oh shit.
They go on Howard Stern. Of course, Howard Stern's a fucking creep. And Curtis looked like he wanted to punch him in the face during the break, and I hope he did because he was like caressing while Lisa is talking about the Guardian Angels. Howard Stern's fucking touching her face and caressing her hair. It's like,
Man, that's one of those things where like when we come back from commercial, we're me and my wife are switching spots.
yeah,
Caress this motherfucker.
Howard, this guy fought off like a fucking gang in McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy walks the
Also,
streets at
yeah.
night. What the
Sorry.
fuck do you
Also,
think?
this. Who?
And
How do
she
you?
can kick your ass too, by the way. You're lucky that she's trying to be nice in front of people.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. God, when's has he died yet? And when does that happen? If
No,
not,
I mean to be fair, he has had multiple public repentance, but you know what? He knew better. I'm sorry. Watching that was very cringy. So he's going
uh,
around. And the WWE even has someone named the Guardian Angel. I didn't know this. I didn't really follow
I
wrestling, but
didn't
there
know
was
that.
actually one. There was
Dang.
actually a representative in the WWE. Um,
Man.
yeah,
So this went from being mildly worrying to the NYPD to being fucking humiliating.
yeah,
Like Vince McMahon is like, I heard of these guys who just beat people up on the subway if they see you mugging someone,
yeah.
and we need one of those on the show.
So speaking of being ahead of his time, guess what? Look, Sliwa knew that a lot of times black and Latino, he wanted a very diverse force because he didn't want it to look like a bunch of white guys on the train
Yeah,
that are policing.
yeah,
That's what they see.
a bunch of white guys wearing one color of uniform a lot is kind of has some bad
Yeah,
connotations.
right. Eh, a hat. There's a lot
Yeah,
of issues here.
there's just a lot
Uh,
that could happen.
yeah, right. Not a good track record. So, Sliwa says he understands that, police harass black and brown people all the time, and sometimes they would get them on bullshit stuff. So he said, there was an extent to which I knew that I had to be okay with people who even had criminal records. He said I would let them in as long as they didn't have like a rape charge that was substantiated or a violent felony. Um, they said he
Wow,
told them
this guy's really something, huh?
he told
Holy
them
shit!
listen, this is your new start. And a lot of them, like, to this day, said it really was. It like changed their life. It gave them immense purpose. So
How is this guy?
yeah,
How is this guy? This guy's got better hiring practices than like 99 point many nines of the U.S.
I know,
at this time.
especially corporate. He said, oh, another important thing. He said, look, obviously some people, it's a big organization at this point. Not everyone's gonna always follow the rules properly. And he said himself, I'm not doing this blue wall of silence shit. I'm going to call out my own. Also because he knew, like I said earlier, they are still walking, even if publicly they're getting support, the powers that be still. do not like them, and like you said, they hate them even more now that they get support from the public.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is
Dude,
very careful
the
to
second
take people out.
I know for a fact the second a cop had to tune into wrestling on his day off.
And see it.
The, sec-
Oh
the,
my
second,
God.
the second this guy was like done beating his wife for the day, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, pay-per-view's got it," and he opens it up to see the new hero on the block, and it's Guardian Angel. Oh, I'm sure shit hit the fan.
And his fucking kid is like, Daddy, you know what I want to be for Halloween? Not you. Not you. That motherfucker. I want to be Curtis.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. So
Curtis.
So they're expanding now. They're Philly, they're New Jersey, they're throughout the states, and the Clash is writing songs about them. They're global, and now by the 80s, so now we're in the 80s, and statistics are rolling in, and the crime has reduced, and in large part, we believe to the Guardian Angels, though of course they never got credit. But violent crime did decrease by the 80s, and I think empirically their presence, their intervention. You know what else they did
I mean, yeah,
that I don't think they got enough credit for? We kind of mentioned this earlier. They took people off the streets
yeah.
who
I,
maybe could have gone the wrong way.
I
So
was
they
gonna
did a lot
say,
of things. Yeah.
I mean, even as a group that just spread the word, right?
Hmm.
That like, hey, we're out here and we want nothing more than to go about our daily lives and not have to deal with shit like this, right? Like
Hmm.
even that, even just hearing like, oh man, I know I won't run into a cop,
Yeah.
but there's probably going to be a Hell's Angel. There's probably going to be like a
Yeah.
Guardian Angel somewhere nearby, right? Or like, what if I did run into them? Or just to get it into the public
Right.
consciousness, right? Probably counted for quite a bit.
Nobody wants a fight. Like
Nobody wants to
everybody
do
always
that.
says the same. Like everybody who really teaches self-defense, not like the bullshit. The really thing they always say, people don't want to fight. They want a victim. And it's not to I know it's easy to take that and victim blame, but this mentality is going from the assailant. The assailant is
Yeah,
saying, who can I victimize? Now, of course, because of sexism and gender-based violence, many of them are going to prey on women. But the idea is that you want to show that you can give a fight. And that's why women need self-defense. Women were guardian angels even before his wife joined, Lisa Evers joined. He wanted there to be women in there too.
yeah.
Um, so now comes a big wedge issue. Another famous New York story that really divided people.
I feel like I know what this is going to be, but yeah, go for it.